Social media is in the middle of a major shift. Platforms like Threads and Blue Sky are really stepping up to challenge the status quo, while employees and customers are becoming the new wave of creators, really redefining how we share, connect, and influences. What's thriving? What's failing? And where are we headed next? Let's break it down right here, right now. I'm Jarod Lehn, founder of Socialtopia, and this is Fit for Business, episode 60. So, you've heard me talk about this time and time again. Social media is more than just a trend, as we know, 2025. Today, it's a vital tool for building any type of brand, visibility, really fostering meaningful engagement, and connecting with your audiences in real time, like right now, in this moment. Platforms, like I said before, like Threads, which have, gained a lot of traction, and now Blue Sky to essentially compete or offset X, formerly Twitter, entering the scene alongside, innovative new strategies that are really just shaping the way I see and approaching digital storytelling like it's never been before done. It's exciting, it's challenging, and I think it's time for everybody watching this, listening to this right now, to start adapting. So, my discussion today, I want to uncover some fresh and actionable insight steps to help any type of business not just stay relevant, but really try to thrive in your environment in this dynamic landscape, right? So when we think about like real-time micro blogging, right? I'm going to say blogging, micro blogging, right? X today, formerly known as Twitter, has always been the go-to platform in recent years, right? But as of late, it's faced growing frustrations from its users from, we all know, the inevitable why. Paywalls, algorithm changes that bury organic content, and really an overwhelming amount of ad clutter that have really made the user experience less appealing for many, right? And there's other probably reasons too. That shift has therefore opened the door to platforms that are switching it up in the short term of things, making it ad free, right? And those two platforms again, Blue Sky, Threads, they're stepping up to fill the void, right? Threads is basically Meta's answer to X, right? Offers that fresh take, while Blue Sky provides a decentralized alternative that's resonating with a very different crowd, right? And I think Threads today, it has been getting a lot of attention because of its seamless integration from Instagram, right? That API connection, they're owned by the same company. So by tapping into Meta's massive ecosystem or user base, it's really giving users and brands a way to transition and engage with audiences that are already active on those platforms, right? But on the other hand, Blue Sky is banking on its decentralized framework, really, to empower users to have more control over their experience, right? I guess you could say it's a breath of fresh air for those tired of quote unquote big tech dominance, the big guys. That's what I've been seeing and listening and hearing. Both platforms are been gaining traction. For businesses, the rise of these new platforms isn't just interesting, it's a real opportunity. The early adopters, right? The early adapters, they really have the chance to stand out and build stronger connections in a less saturated environment, right? We're already seeing great examples, right? For instance, to name some big names, Starbucks has been using Threads to really engage with customers with basically casual polls, keeping their tone light and basically conversational, right? Meanwhile, tech companies are now really trying to start experimenting with Blue Sky, especially to connect with developers and niche communities in meaningful ways. I'll be honest, I'm not on Blue Sky. And after giving this anecdote here and talking on episode 60, once I disconnect and upload this content, I will be signing up for Blue Sky. So try and find me at Jarod Lehn on Blue Sky. I'll be there. Brand new account. So whether it's large brand or testing, creative strategies, right? Or finding more intimate ways, because that's what social media is all about, right? Finding the intimate way to connect. I think there's plenty of potential to grow, right? By exploring, what Threads and Blue Sky essentially have to offer today. So I want to shift the conversation a little bit. We all know the acronym or term UGC, right? User generated content. But I want to focus right now is called employee generated content, or better known as EGC. What I've seen and what I know, kind of like the old school testimonial, it's really kind of coming back full circle for brands to connect and engage, right? Unlike traditional marketing that often feels curated, EGC is really all about employees stepping into their spotlight, right? To share their unique insights, their experiences, and behind the scene moments, right? It's relatable, it's raw, and most importantly, it's authentic. And here's the kicker, right? When employees become the voice of the brand, the content on level of trust and credibility that's difficult to replicate through influencer driven campaigns or AI influencer campaigns, which frankly, mainly audiences, from what I have seen and heard, are growing weary of. Now, influencer marketing is still huge, don't get me wrong, but EGC, these are the benefits I see in EGC for businesses, which are significant, right? For starters, it creates more of a personal connection, henceforth, what I'm talking about, a personal connection between potential customers, right, and the people that are behind the brand, right? These employees are not paid promoters, right? They're taking their time during work or maybe even after work and they're getting in front of the camera. And they're passionate advocates who believe in the company and its mission, and hopefully the people that are running those companies, right? The transparency builds credibility really in a way that traditional marketing often can't, right? Plus, EGC doesn't just appeal to its customers, it's a huge impact on HR, or better known as recruitment, right? When employees showcase authentic glimpses of their workplace culture, it's really making the brand more appealing to prospective hires, right? After all, who wouldn't want to join a company where, the team itself feels valued and proud to represent that brand or company? We're seeing stellar examples of EGC in action, right? So we all know HubSpot, right? Take HubSpot. Their employees regularly post, thought leadership and workplace stories that are really highlighting, just the product, but who they are as a team. So kind of to flip flop here. Similarly, Adobe, they really encourage their employees, to share behind the scenes moments from, their projects, giving their audience really an authentic peek into, what Adobe does, the creative process. And now, these campaigns work not just because they're on brand, but because they feel genuine. That's what everybody wants. They create a lasting on impressions on both customers and potential employees, right? So this is what I say. If you're not really keen or looking into EGC, you should be, right? The key is to support your team to get them to feel comfortable and confident in sharing their story, right? Start by this. Start by fostering a positive, inclusive work environment that employees are excited to promote. Because if they don't feel that way, they're not going to want to promote your shit. Offer clear guidelines and trainings, right? So they understand how to align their content with the brand's values, but they can keep their authentic voice, right? And don't forget recognition. Celebrate the creative contributions of your team, as rightfully so, right? We all know when employees feel valued and empowered, their content becomes not just a marketing tool, but a testament to really what makes your brand truly stand out. The landscape of influencer marketing, it's shaping, it's evolving, and honestly, it's not surprising. A lot of audiences, like I've said, have grown weary of over-polished ads and content that feels obviously more staged than sincere at this point. And it's, don't get me wrong, it's not that influencer marketing doesn't work anymore, because it does. It's just that the trust it once commanded, I think, has eroded a bit, if we can all agree. So this shift has opened the door for something different in many, many ways, right? More refreshing, collaborating directly with customers who genuinely use and love your product and or your service. And here's the real kicker, right? When real customers share their stories, the authenticity, the authenticity shines, right, shines through. It resonates with your audience in a way that, let's face it, traditional, influencer posts often can't. And don't get me wrong, I'm not about not using influencer marketing. It still works. But one of the most powerful ways this plays out is through customer generated stories, which act as social proof and organic social proof for your brand, right? So I'll kind of like mention this. I've seen a brand like Glossier, right? They excel at this. They repost customers' makeup tips and tutorials on IG, turning their followers really into micro ambassadors, right? We all know this gigantic brand. Similarly, Airbnb, right? Frequently features customer travel photos, heartfelt stories, right? Transforming their campaigns really into celebrations of just tangible, real experiences, right? And why do these examples work? Because they actually feel genuine. Maybe you get goosebumps from the people telling these stories. You can feel what's going on, right? And when someone just like them feels that way, that builds credibility and it really makes the brand more relatable. So, this is what I say. The advantages of collaborating with customers just go beyond being authentic, right? It's another route and it's a fantastic way to build a sense of community and just loyalty overall. Customers feel valued when their contributions are highlighted, 1,000%. And that connection makes them more likely to continue to support your product or your brand or your service, right? Plus, customer stories, they really often have a micro influence impact, right? They may not go viral, but they influence their immediate circles in ways that feel read and, let's just face it, trustworthy. I think the kind of engagement right there strengthens the bond between brands and their audiences, right? Creating a ripple effect of positivity. So listen, guys, I think hopefully you're ready to tap into this trend, which I think will become more of a trend. Start by encouraging your customer participation. Branded hashtags, if you use hashtags still, are an easy way and effective way to collect user generated content, right? While overall amplifying visibility, right? Feature incentives like their content on your channels or offering small discounts or rewards, right, can motivate more participation for customers. But it doesn't merely mean the collaboration has to stop at reposting. Engage directly with customers, right? When a brand, business, or an account, responds to their content, you turn it into, one-way meaningful dialogue, right? Showing their voice matters. And it does matter. Those small actions really create big opportunities to strengthen your brand and your presence in an overall way that just feels authentic and impactful. So, guys, like I was saying, I think social media, we're undergoing a significant transformation, right? And it's exciting to see how these businesses are adapting, right? So, by experimenting with platforms like Threads and Blue Sky, really, you can amplify, voices of employees and loyal customers, right? The traditional social media playbook is being rewritten. I'm seeing it happen, right? For face value. These changes, they aren't just about keeping up, right? They're about finding new, more authentic ways to connect with your people, right? So this always happens, right? The businesses, the people that lean into these shifts early, tend to stand and build deeper, more meaningful relationships with their communities, right? So this is what I say. If you're looking to apply these insights, that's where to start, right? Take a closer look at your audience, right? Assess, the platforms again. Where are they? Hey, are they on Threads? Are they on Blue Skies? If so, maybe you should be there. And maybe it could be a good fit. And if it's not, then don't. Establish your brand presence early. If you do go there, it could pay off on other platforms with a less crowded space, right? Within your team, try to explore who has the talent or passion for storytelling other than yourself and empower them with the tools to represent your brand being authentic. Finally, don't forget about the loyal customer base, right? Engage with them, encourage them to share their experiences, right? It goes such the extra mile, and it just creates a way to show your appreciation. By focusing on these strategies, right, you can not only stay ahead of the trend, but really create stronger connections that are just going to last a lifetime. So guys, if you could do us a favor, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you're watching. And if you're listening on Spotify, tap that follow button. And also, if you feel somebody could benefit from this episode, please feel free to share it with them. And if you're looking to catch last week's episode, you can just go ahead and click the bottom right-hand corner if you missed it. And guys, lastly, if you want to learn more about Socialtopia, check out our website. Link is in the description below. We'll see you next week.